What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here. Welcome to episode 7 of the Godzilla Rewatch. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, also known as Ibira, Horror of the Deep. This is the 7th entry in the Godzilla film. It was originally pitched as a film to star King Kong. However, after King Kong escapes, Toho, for some reason, couldn't get the license for Kong. So they decided to replace King Kong with Godzilla, which is why in the film you'll see a lot of like weird characteristics of Godzilla. For instance, he gets awakened by lightning, which they've established before that lightning doesn't affect him, or lightning electricity hurts him pretty badly. I don't know, there's some inconsistencies going on in this franchise. Maybe he builds up a tolerance for it, I don't know. And then he also has shown some sort of interest in like the female character played by Kumi Mizuno. Dio was her name. Dio, yeah. See, I actually remember some of the characters in this one. You got like Dio, you got Yata, Rata, I can't remember everyone's name. But yeah, I know, I like the human cast in this one. This is a pretty good human cast. You got the Red Bamboo, you got the guy who played Dr. Serizawa, who always seems to have an eye patch in these movies for whatever reason. I guess that's just like a character trait. I don't know, did the dude actually like not have an eye? I'd have to go look into that, because I'm not too sure off the top of my head. But yeah, he always has the eye patch. You have that one guy who's almost always a general. Why am I drawing a blank on the guy's name? There's a picture of him right on the screen, so you know who he is. He's always that military guy. Fuck, why can't I remember his name off the top of my head? I don't know, I'm driving when I record this. But yeah, so Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. I remember when I got the DVD of this thing, I was so excited to rewatch it. However, upon rewatching it, I was very disappointed that the English version of this film, the dub was completely different from the one I grew up with. And it sounds fucking terrible. Like, this is one of the worst English dubs in the Godzilla franchise. All the characters sound, wow, hey, wow, that's crazy, wow. Versus, like, there was one I had, it was like Good Times VHS. It had really cool looking cover arts. The opening's a bit different too. One thing I do appreciate about the DVD, there's a little bit longer of an opening. A few extra scenes that weren't on the VHS for whatever reason. But the dub was so much better there. That's the dub I grew up with. Like, they actually tried to sound Japanese. They actually put some effort for it. There was some emotion behind it. But the English dub of this DVD is fucking terrible, and it's abysmal for me to sit through it. And I typically, when it comes to Godzilla films, a lot of times I'll watch them just dubbed because, you know, that's kind of how I grew up with these movies. I watched them dubbed. I don't mind watching things dubbed. Like, it's not like I'm going to sit back and just have a good laugh about it, for the most part, although some dubs are really terrible. But other ones are good. Mothra vs. Godzilla has a really great dub. This one, the Good Times VHS version tape that I used to have, had a great dub, but the English dub on this one just sucks. The international version, or whatever you want to call it, it's absolutely atrocious. So that kind of hinders a bit of the movie. But this film overall, I feel like it gets kind of a bad rap in terms of Godzilla films. It's the first of like these island-themed Godzilla films, because after this you do Son of Godzilla. So the films are much smaller and don't require like they're not really set in Japan, so they don't have to get a lot of city shots. They kind of just filmed them like on an island for the most part. They're smaller movies. They're not trying to be like these big, epic, grand Godzilla films. They're just smaller ones, and they got a lighter tone to them than the previous ones. This is the first one where Godzilla is straight up just kind of a good guy throughout, like, well, I don't know, he does get in a little scuffle with Mothra a bit. Godzilla, I feel like the first one where he's just truly, fully good, Mr. Hey, look, it's Godzilla, guys, I want to say is probably Godzilla vs. Hedorah. Maybe Godzilla's Revenge is another one where he's kind of straight up, fully just good guy. This one, he's kind of a bit of a tweener. Like, he's kind of allies with the humans, but he's not really like a full-blown villain anymore at this point, because he's who we root for. This is like the first one. It's like Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. I'm like, yeah, this is what's up. Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. He's finally on the human side. In terms of the plot of this one, some dude, his brother goes missing in the South Sea, and he goes and steals a boat that's clearly not his, that Akira Takarada, who is a thief, is also on. They steal this boat, and he plans to go on a journey to go find his lost brother. They come across this island, and an evil military known as the Red Bamboo, and they got to try and stop them. However, they get attacked by this giant lobster-looking monster known as Ibira, or Ibira. I think it's just Ibira. So yeah, Ibira, the giant lobster creature, is in there. He's causing trouble. They find Godzilla in a cave. They wake him up. They find out that the people of Infant Island have been captured. And Mothra has finally evolved from her caterpillar into her larva state. I guess that's where she was, like the previous film. So she finally evolved back into that. However, she's really lazy and just been kind of sitting on this cliff, just taking a nap for the most time. The natives are just singing there, I guess, day and night, nonstop. They don't go to take a piss break or anything. They go and just dance and sing to Mothra the entire time. It's like, come on, Mothra, get up off your ass and go help your people. So yeah, Mothra's in this thing too. She kind of shows up at the very end of the movie to hog some of the glory, and that may be bothersome to some people, but I don't mind it. Godzilla gets like one shot in on her, and it's pretty cool, and then she just is gone after that. She rescues everyone at the end. In terms of the action sequences, they're kind of fun. There's kind of some fun ones here. I like the scene where Godzilla is playing volleyball with Ebra. I think that's kind of a funny little touch. Just seeing Godzilla play volleyball, like it's really silly. It's really hokey. And I appreciate it. And Godzilla, and it's cool to have fights underwater. The last film did something different, had it completely set on another planet. This one we have a battle underwater, which is the first time in the Godzilla franchise. And the effect of it's kind of cool. Like, you feel like you're underwater in this thing. I don't know what the effect was. It was kind of like maybe a certain lens over the camera. But I do get the feeling that I am, like, underwater during this fight. So that is quite impressive. The music of this one's done by Masaru Sato. And it gives me some vibes of, like, James Bond, per se. When I think of this one, I think of, like, the Bondzilla. I call it, like, Bondzilla, because that's the vibe it gets, like, I'm like, I feel like I'm going to hear the James Bond theme playing up. It is the 1960s, so it definitely has that James Bond type music to it. Masaru Sato has kind of more of a wacky, I don't think it's awful. I think he has some really good scores sprinkled off through the Godzilla franchise. But they're definitely very different from Ifukube's music. Excuse me. Yeah, they're definitely different from Ifukube's music, which is cool. So the music in this one, it works quite well for the film. Although there's like one track where it just kind of like, they didn't have it in the Good Times VHS, but they had it in this one where it's kind of like this. There's this track that's like a beach type theme music where Godzilla's fighting some planes. And that doesn't quite fit very well to the scene, I feel like. Godzilla's characteristics, got some more characteristics of King Kong, because, well, Kong's supposed to take place in this movie. So, Godzilla seems a bit off. I'm wondering how he got into this cave. That's another thing I kind of wonder, like, is there a little entrance? Or is he just taking it at, maybe after the last one, he's just like, I just need a fucking break from you people. So he just goes off into an island, just minds his own business. So he's not going out of his way to Japan anymore. He's kind of stopped with that altogether. He's just like, you know what, I'm just going to kind of sleep, take a nap, just mind my own business anymore. I'm not going to bother with anyone in Japan, and they don't need to bother with me. We just go our separate ways, and we'll be cool. So yeah, that's one thing I do appreciate. Godzilla's just chilling, minding his own business. All the shit's brought to him. How the Red Bamboo didn't realize he was napping on this island the entire time, or maybe he's just been in an extended state of hibernation. Who knows what's going on with Godzilla, but he gets woken up and he gets awfully pissed. And so the Red Bamboo wreaks havoc. They have this little liquid that they make so they don't get attacked by Ebra, the sea monster. And it seems like they're finally going to go ahead and... So the islanders are making this shit so that they can escape, and then the humans devise a way to be like, oh, we'll give them phony liquid. So then they try to escape after things go horribly wrong for them, and Godzilla starts unleashing hell amongst the island. He starts fighting Ebra. He destroys the entire military. He gets into an awful fight with his giant condor, and that's one of the worst points in the movie for me. Then he destroys the Red Bamboo army pretty much. They try to escape Ebra, who just impales and just annihilates them. It's pretty cool. And then he gets into a final battle with Ebra. There's no real suspense because we just saw Godzilla take on King Ghidorah. We know this monster is not going to be much of a challenge for him. So he ultimately takes on Ebra, rips his claws right off, and just taunts him with them. So some of those characteristics of Godzilla where he's doing something like that, I really like it. It really kind of fleshes him out as not just a typical, like, mindless monster. It shows he's got a bit of personality to him. He's making little facial expressions and just little hand gestures. They really do flesh out a bit more of Godzilla's personality in this film. And I appreciate moments like this. Yeah, this is a smaller Godzilla film. It's one of the Island Godzilla movies. The one after this is Son of Godzilla, which takes place completely outside of Japan. This is like the first one where it's like 95% of this movie takes place away from Japan. And I appreciate that. It gives it a different feel, a different vibe to it. The music's good. There's some pretty looking shots. I like the human cast in this one a lot. One of my favorite human casts in the Godzilla film. Of course, Kara Takarada is really good as the thief guy. And you got Kumi Mizuno, who's pretty good. And very attractive, mind you, as the native island girl, Daiho, who's kind of like works with the team, works with our main cast here. And, yeah, I really do like this one. I know a lot of people don't. I know it gets more of a bad rap, but this is one where I'm, like, I guess on the, I'm not on the main consensus and think this is a terrible Godzilla film. I hate the DVD dub. I love the VHS dub. I grew up with it. This is one I have a lot of nostalgia for. It's one I can put on quite a bit, actually. It's one of my personal, like, favorites of the Showa era. Again, I know this one's not the most popular amongst fans, but this is one that I really appreciate and really enjoy. It's one I can put on, like, quite a bit. And as you can tell by me talking about it, I have a lot to say about this one per se. But yeah, I really do like Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. It's a lot of fun. Human cast is pretty good. Music's solid. There's some good action, then there's some bad ones. And it's cool to see Godzilla in a different environment. We get different types of action sequences and so on and so forth. So, oh, and the final shot of the movie, or the final bit of the movie where Godzilla jumps off the island as it's exploding, I thought that little cannonball that he does was pretty cool, which must have been very difficult because that is a heavy-ass suit to jump in. That's one of the most iconic shots in the series for me. So Godzilla escapes the island, Mothra shows up, hogs all the glory, Godzilla like blasts her in the face, which sounds very wrong now that I say it. Godzilla blasts his load into Mothra's face. Yeah, so Godzilla does that, and then he goes on a separate way. I do like this one quite a bit. I know some people don't, and I know I've said this 100 times probably in this video, but I like Godzilla vs. Sea Monster. I really do. Not much else to say right now. I'm sure I could ramble on about a bunch of other things if I felt like it, but I'm not going to. So, with that being said, let me know your thoughts on Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster / Ebra Horror of the Deep in the comments below so that we can chit-chat about the movie. Do you agree with me? Do you really like this one? Do you really dislike this one? Is this one of your favorites, one of your least favorites, or do you think this one's just okay? You like the island setting, you like the music, you like the cast, you like Godzilla, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. If there's anything else you want to add in the comments, let's go talk about it. We can talk Godzilla. I like talking this shit with people. So, let me know in those comments below. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit that bell for notifications. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/SeanJTKing, where we can continue to talk about Godzilla and all sorts of other stuff. That's all I got to say. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Have a lovely day, and I can't wait for Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'll see you all next time, everybody. Take care now. Bye-bye then.